Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? For my sister and I, it simply started as a thought and honestly felt a little overwhelming because we truly didn't know where to begin until we found Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout is the easiest and best way to launch a professional podcast. In fact, it's so good that they have already helped over 100,000 people launch their own. Buzzsprout does not only have an easy platform to use right at your fingertips, but it will also help you to launch your podcast on every major podcasting platform like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more, all with a few clicks of a button. In addition, you will gain access to analytics and frequently uploaded tutorials to help your podcast be the best it can be. So, join the thousands of people who have created their podcasts with Buzzsprout. And by clicking the link in our description, you can find out more. Buzzsprout, the easiest way to start a podcast. Welcome to Sestra-Tainment.
Sestra-Tainment.
I am Lenora.
And I'm Dee.
And we are here to talk about the top things that really stood out to us this week in regards to TV, movies, TikToks, Instagram.
Everything entertainment.
Everything entertainment in life. So we are going to go ahead and jump right in. And I am actually going to start this week talking about a Showtime movie that I happened to stumble upon called Queenpins. Have you heard of that one?
I have not.
Okay, well, Queenpins actually stars Kristen Bell. So a lot of people know her from Veronica Mars, and she was actually in The Good Place, which was really a show that I loved. I might even talk about that one day.
Okay.
And then she's in there with Kirby Howell-Baptiste. I don't know if you know who she is, but she is someone who has been actually on The Good Place also.
Yeah, she's British, right?
Yes, she's British. She was in Cruella, Why Women Kill, a lot of different TV shows there. It also had Paul Walker. I wasn't quite as familiar with him, but he was also in Cruella.
Paul Walter Hauser.
Yep, Paul Walter Hauser. So, yeah.
He is funny. I think he's a funny guy.
Yeah, he was hilarious on here, for sure.
He's been on quite a few things as like the little nerdy funny guy or something like that. So, yeah.
Okay, and Vince Vaughn. So he is in here as well. So it basically, and I guess I should say a couple other people. Joel McHale is also in here, and he was really good. So basically, the way that the premise of the movie works is that you have Kristen Bell. She's waking up, and her name on this is Connie Kaminsky, and she has a best friend, JoJo Johnson, and they actually are like couponers, and they just do a lot of fun things with coupons, and they're excited and all of those kind of things. And then what ends up happening is that the show kind of starts with her like waking up because the feds or somebody is like coming and busting into her bedroom.
Wait, no, I did see this. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I just thought about it. Once you're talking about it, now I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. So then the feds are kind of busting into the room, and she's like, oh my God, let me take you back and tell you kind of what happened. And so for the most part, her and her best friend, JoJo, came up with this elaborate scheme of coupons. Like, it is ridiculous. And so, it's smart but ridiculous. So what ends up happening is that they go... Well, she accidentally stumbles upon it because she writes a letter to Wheaties, because when she got the Wheaties from the grocery store, they were stale. And she's one of those people who, has the whole grocery cart of like 25 Tides and 15, bounces and, all these kind of things.
Whole garage full of stuff.
And they have the backstory as to why she is someone who is couponing. Like, it's to take the place of a loss in her life. So what ends up happening is that she writes to, I guess, General Mills, who does Wheaties, I'm not sure, but whoever it is, she writes to them, and lo and behold, she gets a free coupon. So that kind of, for a couponer, like, you're used to getting $1 off, 50 cents off, but to get something for free, it made her think, ooh, what if I just kept sending letters to everybody venting about how something was wrong and how it wasn't right, how I can get so much free stuff. So her and JoJo start doing that, and then they realize they can take it to the next level if they can get some insider people at the coupon factory. And so
I didn't even know that was a thing.
That it was a thing. And so I won't go into any spoilers, since you always try to call me out on spoilers. But I feel like, and I don't feel like I do any spoilers. I just try to say enough to get people interested. Yeah. But the thing is like, there is the Paul guy who is on the show that you were mentioning. You think is funny and everything that he does, and he's a funny, nerdy loss prevention person.
Yeah.
So he's just like, I'm going to track them down. No, you can't use this coupon, ma'am. If it's somebody who's in a grocery store or something, because he's like, it's expired. It expired on Tuesday. And the lady, like a little old lady, is like, hey, can't you let me off? Can't I just, still use it? And he's like, no. It's, he's a very serious. Takes it very seriously. And so basically, he gets hot on the trail of learning that within his particular grocery store chain, these ladies are getting away and getting all these other women and neighborhood house moms and stuff involved in all these coupons and getting so much stuff for free. It's costing the company hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so therefore, he's hot on their trail. Well, lo and behold, he's trying to call the FBI, trying to get somebody to investigate it. The FBI thinks it's the stupidest thing. It's coupons. I mean, why would they? It's not guns. It's not, anything, major drugs. So basically, the FBI sends out Vince Vaughn, who is with the U.S. Postal Service, and he is someone with a gun who can go around and look into different things with the Postal Service.
Yeah, which I thought was kind of like fun.
Yeah, and this is all based on a true story, too, which is hilarious. Yeah. It's hilarious. So the long story short of this whole thing is that because it's coupons, nobody cares other than these two men. These two men are taking it very seriously because number one is a loss prevention person and he doesn't want his company to continue to lose money to these coupons. And then the second person, who is Vince Vaughn's character, he doesn't want to, he's just trying to do what's right for the Postal Service, and it's really a federal offense if you do certain things through the mail, like mailing counterfeit, for example, coupons to people. So therefore, they're the only two taking this seriously. Everybody else thinks it's just the most ridiculous thing in the world to care about these two women with coupons.
It's coupons.
Exactly.
They're giving them out to people, well, feeding their family.
What they did is the way that the mastermind network worked. Long story short, and I won't tell you how they figured it out, but they ended up making over $5 million.
That's what I said, it was so smart.
$5 million cash that they ended up making from coupons. And that's why, because no one was taking them seriously, they were just constantly able to do it. And then the story unfolds from there. So I'll leave it at that. It was very entertaining. When I first started watching it, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a drama about a real life scenario with these women who are doing this." Bell. But it was Kristen Bell, so I figured it had to be funny.
And then also the girl JoJo that plays the JoJo character. She what's her name? Kirby Howell Baptiste. Mm-hmm. She is she plays in a lot of funny stuff too.
Yeah. So they within the first 5 seconds, I was like, oh no, this is going to have some funny elements to it. So I wasn't really knowing if I was going to watch the whole thing, but it drew me in, and I really enjoyed watching it. It was really fun. It was a quick watch, and that was my number one thing that I wanted to talk about. Queenpin.
All right, Queenpin
on Showtime. Or I think they even said it can be Hulu.
Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus. It says, that's funny because on mine it says Showtime. That's hilarious. Hilarious. I looked at it through Hulu, I guess I'll say, because I have my Hulu. I have my subscriptions to other things, so I'm not sure. But
I wonder if they moved it, maybe.
Maybe, but that's where it showed for me. But what do you have for your number one this week?
Oh no, it does say Showtime when I go back into.
Okay.
It's both of those, but I don't see how it says exclusive on Paramount Plus and then it's also on Showtime.
Maybe they are all interconnected.
Maybe.
CBS and Showtime have some kind of deal. I'm not sure, but okay. That's what I have. All right.
So what I have, a Netflix movie called Passing.
Oh, I saw that flying around on my, screen.
Yeah. So what it is, it's based in the 1920s. It's a black lady who bumps into an old friend that has been passing as a white woman. So what I like about this is that they make the movie in black and white, but the movie is just mainly about black and white.
Yep.
That's how I do like that. But then also, I feel like they had to do the movie in black and white just because of the fact that it probably makes the effect of these actresses come off more white, like more.
They look lighter than what they actually are to feel like they could pass. Because for some of them, I was like, could they have passed? Because they didn't really look that light to me. But we have family members who could pass. Like, absolutely. So, but no, it's a real thing for people who may be listening and not know that this is something that people did or would do. That this is definitely something that's a reality.
Had that lady on her show when she had her one morning show or whatever, and it was this lady who was talking about she was talking about her mother and how she looked at her mother's birth certificate and it said black. Mm-hmm. And like she was just like, Mom, like this says black, and her mother had been passing. Her mother was mixed, so her mother had been passing. So this is something that's been going around. Like, this something's been happening. Like, that's the only way that you could get by is by passing if you wanted to have a certain
right.
So, and that's what ends up happening in this. So, now what happens is, so once the woman who is passing, the friend who is passing, once she comes and sees her now, like, younger friend, she's just like, oh my goodness, like, I thought that I had to be passing in order to have the life that I have. And then she sees her. This is a Harlem Renaissance. Mm-hmm. You see this woman who has this nice brownstone that she's living in Harlem, and she's got her kids, and her husband is big professional and has a good job. In her mind, she wanted to pass so she could have that life, but not realizing that she could have had the same life.
Had she just been true to herself. So the one who had the brownstone in the family and all that was the one who was still a black woman.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just, I really like how that, it's, for me when I watched it, it was just like different little things. I felt like it was a lot of double entendres that were said in there. Because, like, some stuff that they would say, you can be like, oh, I can see that, in a couple of different ways. But it does go from being, wow, this is, like, really cool, to now you see a jealousy from the girl that is actually not passing, the black girl.
Okay. What is she jealous of?
What she's jealous of is that now this woman who is my friend is getting all this attention because she looks like she's passing.
So the one who is passing is jealous of the lifestyle that the other one has too. Yes. And then this one is jealous of the fact that the other one who is passing is getting all this attention because
all these people think that she's white.
Mm-hmm. So she gets even treated better, just on the street than she does. Absolutely. So I have some benefits and she has some benefits, exactly. But none of us have the whole package.
Yes, and I mean it goes into like a twist and a spiral. I mean, like it ends up being I don't know. I feel a lot in this movie. Like you can feel a lot of like where both of the ladies are coming from, like just from their facial expressions, their emotions, things that they're said. Yeah, but I really think it's a great movie. Definitely check it out.
I was going to say, who are the actors in it? Because I remember one of them, but I couldn't remember what I saw her in. Was it Westworld?
Yeah, she was in Westworld. All right, so we have Tessa Thompson.
Yes.
That's who you're thinking of. Tessa Thompson, Ruth Negga, Andre Holland, and Bill Camp are the main characters, the main four characters. Actually, you know what? There is one more. Alexander Skarsgård.
Oh,
that's your boy from True Blood.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, it's Eric from True Blood.
Eric, gotta love Eric.
So let me get back to this. So with the woman being passing, she's talking to her friend that she bumps into, and when she's talking to her, the black lady says, "So does your husband know?" And she says, "No." And then it's like, okay, what happens? The husband comes in, into
while
the
they're
house.
talking.
While they're talking. So now the husband is seeing this light-skinned lady sitting on the couch and thinking that she is passing as like she's a white woman as well. I don't see how that could be a possibility because for him to like, I mean, he says some stuff where she's just like, "Do you not like black people?" He said, "Oh, not at all." He's like, "I hate them."
Oh, wow.
So I don't know. It's kind of like but you have two in your house, like
Right, and you're married
to one, and
yeah.
you got a half Negro kid. You know,
Yeah,
like,
and you don't know. Yeah, and it's a lot of things that can kind of play into that, because then you could have some people look at this and say, "Oh wow, she did what she had to do because of the fact that of how things were, and that was the only way she felt like you were saying earlier, she felt she could get ahead." Then you have other people who are going to look at it and say that is so wrong and disrespectful to someone that you say you love, to pretend to be something that you're not and to live a life of a lie.
Exactly, and it could also be wrong to the black community, being like, "Oh, so you have to be a white person. You feel like you're better than just because you're a white person.
Just because of the way you were born."
And that is what Sestra-Thompson's husband. That is one of the things that he says. He's just like, "I can't. How can she like be like that? They're so disrespectful." So I mean, like, yeah, I definitely get it. So I can see it from all types of different directions and angles. But yeah, definitely check it out. It is a great movie. I would say. I mean, I've watched it probably 3 times since the first time I watched it, like since it first came out. So, all right, check it out. Yeah, Passing on Netflix.
All right, sounds good. Okay.
What you got coming up next?
Next, I have the TV show Our Kind of People on Fox.
Hey, shout out to my boy Jason.
And you want to talk about your boy Jason and what he has done with the production?
My boy Jason has worked on the production for this. He works in, I guess it's like the building and stuff like that. He builds sets.
Like props and sets.
Props and sets. So he was the one who actually told me about this, and now he is working on a whole different one that's being filmed here in Richmond.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, Our Kind of People, our mom actually drew me into this one. She was trying to look for something on TV to watch when she was here one day, and we ended up putting this on for her to watch, and she was enjoying it. And then I was like, wait a minute, this is kind of a good show to check out, because I don't even know if I think I had seen a commercial or two, and I saw my boo, Morris Chestnut. I can't even talk because I love him so much.
You got so flustered.
Morris Chestnut in the commercial. So I was like, ooh, when is this show coming on? And then I didn't realize it was already on, and probably 4 episodes in by the time we started watching it with Mom. But so Our Kind of People, it has a cast of Yaya DaCosta. She actually has been on Chicago Med as an example. Nadine, and I'll just say she plays a character who is someone who finds out who her father is, who is actually an extremely wealthy person, like home on Martha's Vineyard, and like black wealth kind of person that she didn't realize until she was older who her dad was. Or maybe she knew. Actually, she knew when she was younger, but she didn't just try to pursue him until she got older. You have, like I said, Nadine Ellis. She was on like movies like The Four of Hearts or Let's Stay Together.
I really haven't seen her on much stuff.
Yeah, I've seen her on a few things. She has a very, to me, Niecy Nash. She kind of reminds you of Niecy Nash.
She was on Hairspray. Live Free, Die Hard.
Okay. We have Debbie Morgan, who is amazing. Still looks beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Never changes. Her dimples are still amazing. Yeah. Of course.
Little Huggy Bean.
Little baby doll. You have Morris Chestnut, who, again, what's hilarious, I'll just tell this little quick side story about Morris Chestnut. When my boyfriend actually is cooking on the grill, he'll say, "Do you want the hot dogs to look like Morris Chestnut or Boris Kojo?"
That is so funny.
So I'm like, can you give me a mixture of both?
Yeah.
Quite a few Morris Chestnuts. But then I'm okay with some Boris Kojos too. So anyway, I digress. He knows where my loves are. Yeah. And then Joe Morton, who, super accomplished actor, was on Scandal as Olivia's father. He always has amazing
he's on
monologues. I mean, his monologues go to another level if you saw him on Scandal, and he does some of that as well on Our Kind of People. So I have really enjoyed watching the show. I'll kind of stop at that part of the cast, but basically Joe Morton's character is her father on the show. And so she kind of comes to their area, and it's all high society, it's all debutantes, it's all, wonderful, beautiful money things. And she's coming wanting to open a hair salon, and the family has a scholarship program that they use to help budding business owners and entrepreneurs, and she wants to get into the scholarship. She doesn't want anything from them. And of course she comes and they think she's going to put out her hand and want things. But she's like, no, I want to earn whatever I get. Yeah. But then they just try to make it extremely complicated because the daughter is the only daughter of Joe Morton. And she's like, yeah, you're my quote unquote sister if I believe you. But at the same time, don't think that you're going to be able to take over the company, that you're going to be able to infiltrate into our lives and things of that nature. But it's an interesting web because you have you have Joe Morton, head of the company, head of the family. You have his daughter who's married to Morris Chestnut, who they have troubles in their relationship, and she, because her father owns all the company and the money, kind of controls him, and he feels a little emasculated because of the fact that, well, I got to go through you. I got to go through your dad. I created a company, but y'all are the ones who are controlling it. Those kind of things. So there's drama there. He has an ex-wife. She comes into the picture. There's some things. Okay. Then you have where there's a guy whose father used to work for Joe Morton's character, his father passed away. Now he works for him, but it's like you're trying to figure out, like, is he really about the family? Is he really about the female who's come into town and her character, and really being able to maybe even start a relationship with her, but feeling torn because he's so close to this family and he knows the family isn't really trying to let her in. And then you have the main character also. She has a daughter who, is just going through life trying to come and go to school in this place where it's a bunch of rich kids, and having to dress up for a debutante ball and having them like try to call her out and make her feel less than, so it's a lot of drama in regards to the show. But I personally have just liked the fact that there's very few shows on TV. I mean, you had the Huxtables, but you really don't have a lot of shows where they show Black families, prominence, money, without it being like, it's not like an empire type of fighting and cattiness and all of that. Like, even though these two women, the daughter who was always around and the new daughter who's shown up, even though they don't really intertwine in the same circles and they're really not friendly, quote unquote, it's not like hair pulling and drama and all of that. Like, they're too good for that. You know what I mean? Like, I might record you while you're trying to tell somebody off and act like, I want to upload that on YouTube or something, but I'm not going to call you out your name or, do anything too crazy. So,
because it's still, in the end, it is like still their family. It's still like their family is going to be the ones that are going to take the blow for the two sisters going at it.
Exactly.
It's just like, let's not. It's kind of like the Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Solange. And like,
elevator.
Once we get in this elevator, I'm going to light your tail up. Yeah.
Right. So you're right, because there is that element of, if we weren't in such a public light, we probably would be a little more rough around the edges. But because of the fact that we could lose stock and shareholders and board members and, all of this, like, no, we're not going down this path.
Work too hard for this money for me and you to get into this little petty fight.
Yeah, and the woman who comes into town, her name, because I haven't said any of the names of the characters, but that's Angela. So Angela's the one who comes into town, realizes when Joe Morton is her father and she wants to come and, be in his presence. His name is Teddy. He has some health issues too that he's trying to keep from his family. I guess he feels like if they know about it, they may try to have a coup and take over and things like that. So you have that. You have Leah, who's the daughter, and then she's married to Morris Chestnut's character Raymond. So it's a good dynamic, a good mix. You have a daughter of Morris, or I guess I should say Leah and Raymond, who is Lauren, and she is a lesbian, but she feels like because she's in high society, she really can't be true to herself.
Yeah, she can't come out and say anything.
Exactly. So it's a lot of intricate twists and turns and tales to this, and I've just really been enjoying watching it, and almost to the point that when it's a new episode coming out, I'm like, oh, a new episode came out last night. Let me go ahead and watch it on Hulu today. So, but anyway, that's what I had. Our Kind of People, again, it's on Fox, and I think it's a really good show that a lot of people would probably enjoy watching.
Yeah, all right.
Yep.
So, for my next one, I have another Netflix show. It's called Bruised. This is the Halle Berry movie.
Oh, yes. I never even saw the trailer, but I just saw that she had a movie and she had her hair like cornroad or something.
Yeah, she has like braids. Yeah. So what it is that Halle Berry is a MMA champion fighter. And it starts off where she's in the ring and you can, but you're seeing it from her point of view. So she's in the ring and then next thing you know, you see it's blurry. You can't see. And then she falls to the ground and then, they call the fight. She loses her belt fight, the fight for her championship belt. So from that, what happens? She was the champion for so long that now that she's not champion anymore, she feels less than. She feels worthless. She goes down the spiral. She ends up having depression, alcoholism, and I don't know for sure about drugs. Because I don't know if they really touched on that. I know that her boyfriend was on drugs, but never really talked about that. But then she, and her boyfriend's, her manager, trying to get her to, go to all these different, basement fights, Fight Club. Literally, Fight Club. Trying to get her to go to those and see if she would, hey, let's get some money by you going in there and you fighting, this little house mom that wants to feel like she's big and bad, So, from there, she's just I don't want to fight. No, I don't want to do that. So, there is a person who is in the ring who is beating the hell out of this one lady. I mean, it's so bad that when she stands up, Halle Berry was like, wait, that's a man. And then, they were like, no, it's not. This woman was so cut up and so huge. She looked like a Viking, but just with breasts.
Wow.
Yeah. So then somebody mentions that Halle Berry, her character is there, and her character, her character's name is Jackie Justice. Jackie Justice. So
that sounds like a fighter name as opposed to an actual real name. It's I changed my name to Jackie Justice.
That's her fighter name. So, somebody turns around and is like, oh my God, Jackie Justice is here. And then it's like, you gonna come and fight? And she's just turning around trying to walk away. So now this big lady who was just beating the crap out of that one chick now comes right in front of the Jackie Justice and it's egging her on to try to fight her. And she's just
because she knows she had the belt.
Yeah, she's like, no, I don't want to fight you. She's like, I'm done with fighting.
Now, how big was this lady up beside Halle Berry?
Probably the difference between me and Stu.
Okay, so somebody who's good, 5'7" and 6'3" or 4.
Yes.
Okay, just to put it in perspective.
Yeah.
And Stu is our brother, by the way, Stuart.
Yeah. Shout out to Stu. So, with that being said, what happens is the lady's provoking her. She's like, no, stop. Okay, no. She's trying to walk away. Right when she gets ready to walk away, the lady grabs a bottle. Has I don't know, it's Jack Daniels or something like that, and it spews it right into her face. Spits all on her. And then now Jackie just it's on Kill Bill when he was that sound. Then it's okay, something crazy is about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And she just hauled off and beat her so bad. She headbutted her so many times. I can't even explain how many times she headbutted her. It was close to people were like, oh. And then it got quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And then
they were
just,
oh, Nance.
And then you still just hear,
yeah, it's too
and she's
much.
still headbutting her. So then then she gets up. And then the boyfriend picks her up and takes her to the car, and So I'm like, wow, that's a lot. She's crazy. She got some demons. So now they're standing outside They hop in the car. They're going back to their house. Get home. Her mother standing outside of her door. Her and her mother have a horrible relationship. Mm. They are not very friendly to each other. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's just that they're too much alike or whatever, but yeah, they just don't get along. Her mother's just like, hey, you see that little boy sitting on the stoop over there? That's yours. Somebody dropped him off. All right, I'm gone. And then they're just like, wait, you can't leave him here. So apparently what happened is when Jackie, after she fought, it was going through her little like going through the depression and everything, her boyfriend at the time, she ended up getting pregnant, and she left him with the baby.
Mm.
Yeah.
So he dropped off the baby saying, now it's your turn?
No, he died.
Oh, he died.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And apparently the little boy, I think it said something about like the little boy might have seen it, because the little boy says nothing throughout the whole movie.
Oh.
He's not taught.
Childhood trauma.
Yeah, absolutely. So now this little boy's living with her, and she's like trying to, like, that's when you see a change in her. That's when she goes from, okay, now I'm not just worrying about me. Now I have to worry about me and this little boy. But I don't even want to be attached to this little boy.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's because it's the more of the shame that she feels that she left him, and then like
Are you giving any spoilers?
No,
no, just
no
checking.
spoilers. This is all from like the trailer. Like, trust me.
That's crazy when you have shows where everything is in the trailer.
Yeah, and I feel like they should stop doing that.
Yeah,
but, anyway.
but they I think that a lot of production companies feel like they have to put enough in the trailer to get people to come so they can recoup the money they spent on the movie.
We talked about this before. I feel like it was on our first podcast. We talked about this because remember I said Jordan Peele. Like, I want to watch his movie Nope.
That's
just
right.
because of the billboard, the picture for it.
It's just a little bit of information and it makes you want to do it versus... It's just a different way of thinking. It's almost like the old school way of doing it, which was you give a whole lot. It's some of your best scenes in the trailer, and then people come in and say, oh, well, I didn't know the best part was in the trailer. And then like a Jordan Peele who was like, I'm not going to follow the norms. I'm going to do something different.
Yeah, I feel like Jordan Peele, when he does like his stuff, he just does clips. He'll do like a quick.
It's like flashes.
Like a flashes,
almost.
Yeah.
When he does his trailers, it's like flash. Because like that's all I can think
you're
of.
Just like, oh, wait, what happened right there? Oh, you know. So it does get your attention. Right. But no spoilers. So basically now she's trying to be a better person. With her trying to be a better person, she's like, all right, I'm gonna try to fight again. She gets in the gym. She's training. She's trying to get another match so she can get money to go ahead and like take care of her and her son. And basically it just like changes her, and then there is it's an emotional roller coaster.
So you would recommend it? It sounds like
I would definitely recommend it. Like, so I'm not really a big fan of Halle Berry.
Okay.
I feel like
what would you say is the best work that she has done that you have seen?
I thought Catwoman was horrible.
Yeah, I think everybody thought Catwoman. I think she thinks Catwoman is horrible because the way she's joked about it. I'll say that. I think she got a Razzie
I think that's her Wild Wild West. Remember Will Smith's Wild Wild West? I feel like that's
could
hers.
Be. Sidebar, that Wild Wild West is what Will Smith did instead of being Neo in The Matrix.
Yes, I did know that.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
What was he thinking?
He broke it down about that.
Yeah,
about, like, how the guys are just like, so what we're going to do, we're going to have you stand there, and there's going to be all these cameras, and then you're going to
look like you're floating in the air.
The
camera's going to go around you, and then you're going to be in the air, but you're not going to be in the air. He was like, okay, this is too conceptual for me. I'm not getting it. But anyway, I digress. But
no, I don't know. Maybe best movie? Monsters Ball?
Ugh. Oh, sorry. Did I say that out loud?
Monsters Ball, she was good.
I mean, she got an award for it, so it could be that is the best one.
Best one, Baps. Just kidding.
I don't think many people would agree with you on that. We might lose all credibility in regards to us being people that people should listen to in regards to recommendations.
I don't really.
I was just wondering. But I feel like I almost have to Google what she's been in to remember.
Kidnap was good. Kidnap was really good.
I don't remember Kidnap.
That was one of the ones that came out like maybe 3-4 years ago. Her son was kidnapped, and then she's like trying to find him.
Oh, okay, yeah. And I keep forgetting she was in all the X-Men's as Storm and things of that nature.
Cloud Atlas. Did you like that?
I watched it, but I swear I can't even. I mean, it was Tom Hanks in it too and stuff like that.
Oh, it was everybody.
Yeah, it was
But it was like a
cerebral.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of a like kind of like a comic book strip. That's what it reminded me of. But yeah.
Okay, got it. But no, I liked her in Boomerang.
Oh yeah.
Liked her in Boomerang. That's
Marcus.
Yeah. Love should have brought you home last night. Yeah, so I liked her in that. And I also liked her in John Wick when she played that character in, I think it's 3, is it?
Oh,
Yeah,
see,
John Wick 3. Yeah, she was pretty good in there. But
I
anyway.
only watched John Wick 1. But yeah, but no, definitely go and check it out. It is Bruised on Netflix.
Bruised on Netflix. Well, thank you. Sounds good. I think we can definitely, support these new movies that are coming out straight to Netflix as opposed to going into theaters, but they almost look like they could be theater productions.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Netflix got buku money.
Oh, yeah.
They got that Jeff Bezos money.
Yeah, and it's weird because they even said that they were... I think last year during the pandemic, they said that what they were planning to do is over the 52 weeks of the year, they were going to release 75 movies or 70-something movies. And I mean, these are movies that all have big name actors. And like a lot of them aren't just your run-of-the-mill
D-list actors.
Yeah, they're not the indie films or anything like that. Like they are big productions. And so, but you're right. They have the money to burn and to spend it on whoever they want and however they want.
Exactly.
So it's all good. I'm glad to hear it. I even heard today, and I guess this is because it was just Thanksgiving, so it's kind of a side topic, I'll say. I don't know if everybody had heard of the situation with the grandmother who sent a text message to who she thought was her grandson saying, hey, this is when Thanksgiving is going to be. Please come, da-da-da-da-da, whatever. And it went to the wrong person. So it was an older white lady. She sent it to a younger black guy. And the younger black guy was like, oh, I think you might have the wrong number. But I appreciate, the invite. Hey, what time is dinner? And she was like, oh, yeah, sure, you can come. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I had the wrong number. Well, that was 6 years ago. And they have had Thanksgiving together every year since then.
Sweet.
It is so sweet.
So they're like besties?
They're besties. So he's gotten a girlfriend since then. The girlfriend comes to Thanksgiving dinner. Unfortunately, the lady, her husband passed away from COVID. And so he was there to kind of help support, her emotionally, with that. And so he'll just come and hang out with her.
Grandson.
And Netflix is going to make it a movie.
I could definitely see that being a movie.
Yeah, they just announced it today. That Netflix is going to make that a movie. And so, like I said...
They should call it Giving Thanks. Bam. That's
I don't know if they will or won't. I don't know what it'll be called, but he was...
Wrong number.
Yeah, it could be anything like that. But yeah, I just thought that was such a sweet message. And I remember 6 years ago when they were like on the Today Show or Good Morning America or something like that, just talking about how this accidental connection, and they were like, oh, yeah, And I think he treats her like it's his grandma, you know what I mean? So it's really cool connection. So like I said, sidebar topic, but I just felt like since it's right after Thanksgiving that would be a good thing to bring up, especially since we were talking about Netflix, and Netflix is going to make it into a movie. So he's really excited about it. And it's a beautiful story too, of just two people that would probably never have met or never engaged with each other otherwise. And just because of accidental text and him asking that one question, well, what time's dinner? And her saying and being open to, I'll send you the address. You can come too. And he did, you know? So it's like, who would have thought that those things would have happened in that order? So.
And he probably was just like, I'm going to mess with this lady. I'm just going to go and see, if she's going to open the door for me.
Yep.
And then it could have been like, she's like, I'm putting a face to the text message.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a beautiful story. So I can't wait. That is one that I'll definitely be ready for and to check out. And hopefully it'll be ready by next Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so what you got next?
Next I have, and we're going to get very quiet and whisper. I hope everyone can hear us. But we're going to whisper because I am going to talk about ASMR. Okay. So we're going to do this segment whispering so that way you can get a feel of what ASMR is.
I hope this works out well.
you all can hear us. If not, we might have to re-record. But ASMR actually is something that people are on YouTube and other areas of social. I've seen it on TikTok, sometimes TikTok lives, where people are whispering and talking into the microphone. They may even be clicking their tongues and things of that nature, which to some people might bother them tremendously, but for other people it is extremely calming and relaxing, and it actually can make people feel like they are all tingly all over because of the fact that it is autonomous sensory meridian response. That's what ASMR stands for. Autonomous sensory meridian response. And so some of you may have seen this, some of you may not, but it definitely is something that is catching on since about 2010. And it is something where if you're looking at a YouTube video, you might see the person wheeling their fingers towards the screen and making little gestures that you're like, what is that and what does it mean? I don't know. But for some reason, for some people, it's very calming and relaxing. You can't laugh at me on the microphone while I'm doing this.
Sorry, I'm not laughing. It's just funny because we're whispering during the podcast.
We are, but it's to explain what it is.
Yeah. Let's see how this goes.
So to give you an example of something ASMR, I am going to touch the microphone and give you some ASMR sounds. I'm going to use, that was with my hands, now I'm going to use my pen. You can use a brush. I've even seen people use Silly Putty and goop and nails. Yes, the nails. So, some of you may be hearing this and your body is cringing. Others may be hearing this and you're like, why is the hair standing up on the back of my neck? I'm not sure. But it's because it is definitely something that millions of people find extremely relaxing.
Yeah, it's like oddly satisfying.
It is oddly satisfying, and even some people fall to sleep to ASMR every night. So,
I can see that. I can see that happening.
yes, they said sometimes people get the tingles as it runs up and down their back because of the hearing sounds that they're getting. Someone came up with the name ASMR in 2010. Her name is Jennifer Allen, and she created a Facebook group so that people could find out more about it, and others could hear and see other people who do ASMR. And basically, there's really no science as to how it works, but sometimes people will spray water in the air and let the water fall on the microphone, and it sounds like little raindrops. Or you might take a water bottle and tap it like this. So there's a lot of different sounds that can be made from ASMR. So,
Do you know the definition?
I said it. You walked out the room.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. So, yes, that is what it is. There are few people who may find it a little arousing, let's say, but that's not the purpose of ASMR. The purpose is truly to give you a calming, relaxing, more zen, let's say, feel to what it is that you do. So, you can type in ASMR and find it a little bit of everywhere. Like I said, Instagram, YouTube, on TikTok, different places. But that's basically what I wanted to share today. ASMR.
Okay.
Anything you wanted to add, sis?
No, but now, listeners, you can turn the volume back down.
Because we're going
back to our regular voice.
Regular voice. voice. So, but you can't talk about ASMR and not whisper. Like, it's not normal.
It was fitting. It's fitting.
It's fitting. It's absolutely fitting. And yes, so, and I don't even know if anybody really needed to turn it down. Maybe the calmness and the quietness of what it was exactly the volume that they needed to hear.
Yeah. Or it could have been that they was like, what did they say? And they turn it up, and then I wanted to make sure to say something before we just be like, and now we're back. And then it's like, oh, my eardrum.
Well, my plan was to go, and we'll be back in 3, 2, 1. But you beat me to it. So that's what I had. ASMR, it is something that millions of people are following and listening to and falling to sleep to, and people are making a lot of money off of. So who knew that you can make millions of dollars off of whispering?
Yeah, and like throwing stuff on the microphone, tapping the microphone.
Yeah, I literally saw... the other day I was looking at one for research, which it doesn't bother me. Like, I can listen to it, and everything. And the person was using a spray bottle, and the water was they saran wrapped the microphone so the microphone wouldn't get damaged. And then they used a spray bottle of water, and the water, as it fell down on top of the microphone, it literally sounded like little teeny pieces of rain, like a little mist of rain. And they kept doing that. And somebody was like, oh my gosh, that sounds so good. And then somebody else is like, oh, you did that last week. Can't you do something different? You have, of course, haters for everything. But then one lady used goop that had sparkles in it and really hard pieces. It looked like almost candy, but it wasn't candy. But she was taking it and like pulling it over.
Was it styrofoam on it?
No. It wasn't that. Sometimes they do have the ones that have the little beady styrofoam looking things in it. Yeah. But then she was pulling it over top of the microphone and like sliding it to the left and sliding it to the right. And it sounded just like rubber almost, like going over it and stuff. So it's just really weird sounds and all of that. So... Right. I just said that, it's something popular right now. Got to discuss it. So there you go. What do you have, sis?
Okay. I have 2020, the one that you put me on to.
Oh, 2020, yeah.
Yeah, the Escape from a House of Horror.
Yes, that was
very devastating and
traumatic
and brave.
Yes.
Very brave. So what it is it is a family of 13 kids, husband, wife. Basically, they're abusing their kids. They are tying them up for weeks at a time. They're not feeding them. They're in the same clothes they've been in for like years. Like one of the daughters said that they haven't had a bath in like over a year. Yeah. So what it is one brave young lady. She's like number. I think she said number 8 of the 13. She is
13, 15?
No, she was 17.
17.
She ends up jumping out of the window of the house and escaping with a cell phone just to go like get away from the house and call 911.
Right.
Just because, she's like her and I think she said her and her sisters had been like trying to figure out like what was the best time to do it, when's the best time to do it. And she had said, if I don't go now, then I'm not going to go.
Yeah, exactly.
So she jumps out the window, runs down the street, and she doesn't even know, like, they don't even get out of their house, and she knows nothing.
She doesn't even know what street she's on. She doesn't know anything.
So she calls 911. The phone is so old that the 911 operator was like, if we got disconnected, there was like, there's no way for us to call her back because that phone company doesn't even a thing anymore. Like, it's like having an old Nokia that you can dial 911 on and it will send. It will send. Yeah, that's it. So that's all that it could do. So she dials 911. She's talking to the operator on the phone, and she is just saying, and like you can hear her talking. Her voice is very. She sounds like a baby, like a child.
Childlike, yeah. Like she sounds like she's 9 or
something.
Yeah.
And then also with that, her language is broken up because she doesn't go to school. The only English that she knows is from being around her siblings and her parents. That's basically it. Yeah. So when she's dials 911, talking to the lady on the phone. The operator says, all right, so do any of you all take medication? And she said, what's that? It's like, wow, like, she doesn't even know what medication is. She was like, well, we take Robitussin when we have a cold. And that was it. Like, she didn't even know what medication was. She said, I've never taken a pill.
She said she had never even talked to anybody else outside her family.
She's like, and so that's what she said. Like, so the operator keeps her on the phone. She asked her, hey, can you tell me what street you're on? She's like, I don't know. He said, give me some time. It's going to take a while for me to get where I'm going, like, to get to see, like, where I'm at. And can she read?
I never got an understanding of if she could read or not. I think she could, but I didn't really get that understanding.
Yeah. Well, I know her spelling was bad. So,
okay.
Yeah. But, so she walks to, like, an intersection, and she's like, I see a stop sign, and I'm standing right here. And then she's like, okay, can you tell me the address of your house? So, and then she's, like, giving her a bunch of numbers.
Yeah, like, it's almost like she's giving her, like, more than Social Security numbers or something, and you're like, no, that's not your address.
So what she ends up doing is giving her the zip code plus that little dash and the four other numbers.
Yeah. That's right.
She ends up giving her that, and that could be because she couldn't, maybe she couldn't read,
Right.
Like, she just saw the numbers and was just like, I'm going to read the numbers.
And when is she going to see mail to know what her address is or what her parents even tell her? Because you're not going to ever be away from us.
Yeah, that's true. So while she's standing there talking to the operator, police officer pulls up, and she says, I was scared. She said he had such a straight face. She said, I didn't know if he was going to believe me or not. Like, I didn't know. She went, like, from his body cam.
Yeah, like, you had the actual footage.
Yeah, and, like, she's like, I'm sorry, I've never talked to a stranger before in my life. And that's like, oh my God, that's sad. She's like, I never talked to a stranger. I guess, like, when they go places, like, her parents would.
Yep.
Yeah. That's sad.
Yeah, they would never get to talk to people because the parents would do it because the parents didn't want anybody to talk to their kids because they would potentially say something. Yeah, so, and then the thing was that what caught me was that you didn't know if the cop was going to believe her or think she was somebody who was mentally ill or what. So he ended up asking her at one point, do you have any proof of this happening?
What's the proof? Do you have any proof of, like, this? And she was like, oh, yeah, wait. So then she goes, like, through the phone, and there's a picture of her two sisters chained up in the bedroom.
Right.
With these filthy clothes on. So from there, then he's just like, all right, so now he's like, okay, so now for real, like, this is serious. Like, I gotta go ahead and, like, do what I gotta do.
Like, call for backup. Yeah, call for backup.
Yeah. So I think they said it was like 6 o'clock in the, like, 5:30 or something like that.
She broke out before it got light outside. And then I think it was 7:30
in the morning when the cops actually came through. So they have the girl sit in the car. And mind you, she is 17, but her mind is that of a 9-year-old, like you said earlier. So she's sitting in the car, and she's like, oh, my God, like, I don't know if, like, should I go up to the house? And then just like, well, like, you don't have to. You can sit in the car. She's like, yeah, because if my parents know that it's me, like, she said, I don't care if the cops are here or not. They will kill me.
Right, exactly. She knew that she would die.
She knew that she would die. So cops walk up, knock on the door, go ahead and talk to the parents. The house is filthy. They do a welfare check. They walk inside. The mother was trying to say that
they were moving.
The house is disgusting. They're hoarders.
Which they were supposed to be moving. I think they said to Oklahoma.
Yeah, for his job, but
right. But no, it was like boxes disarray.
Yeah, hoarder. She's a hoarder.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. It was like
trash.
A hoarder.
They said it was trash.
But a beautiful home on the outside. That's the thing. It looks like a $300,000, $400,000 home on the outside.
And then you walk in,
and nobody knows that all of this is going on the inside.
Exactly. So, so throughout the interview, you see that you see how, like, the one girl who did break out, I feel like she's probably the most outgoing and everything. She was talking about how she ended up singing and stuff like that, recording herself, using her siblings' old phones to, and I think the only reason that they had old phones was, like, their parents' old phones that they would give to them for, like, entertainment or something like that.
Yeah, maybe so. I can't remember how they got it.
Yeah, because they were like, it doesn't work, so you can connect to the Wi-Fi and look at some stuff, like, you know. But she used to watch Justin Bieber all the time and singing and stuff like that. So She said that just that saw her. She said it made her see the world out from the outside.
Yeah, that there's more to the world than sitting in this house being tortured by your parents.
Yeah, yeah. So it's really really awesome, like how they are. It's awesome how they are out and they are not as traumatized as they could be.
Yeah, it's like, I wonder, because they didn't talk about it that I'm aware of, like what therapy did they go through?
Yeah.
I don't recall them mentioning anything in regards to that. I mean, you could just tell that they were extremely happy to be free, for lack of a better way of saying it, like to not have to be around their parents. They even testified in court against their parents. Yep. And the interesting thing is, like, the father was an engineer. And he made good money, and, you know, by all accounts, everybody just thought he was a normal, weird, quirky guy. But a lot of engineers are like introverts. I'm an engineer because I like to just be alone and siloed and kind of working on my project and things of that nature. Okay. And then the mother, they did talk about some mental health and childhood trauma that she had when she was younger. But you really don't know how this whole spiral began. Was it that because the father was much older than the mother?
Yeah,
that was
he was
another
6 years
thing.
older, but she was like 16.
She was 16, so with him being 6 years older, it's a bigger difference than it would be if they were 30. You know, but also, did he manipulate her, and then that created manipulation of the kids, or was it that because of her childhood trauma, she was like, "This is how we're going to have to raise our kids," and he was like, "Okay, you're in charge of X, Y, and Z."
I know they said that the mother did make the other children do stuff while they were gone. Like the mother was the one. So what the parents used to do is they used to chain up the kids. They had like dog kennels that they had made for like if the kids were like the parents used to go like for weekends at a time away, have all these kids in a trailer all locked together in this trailer, and they would make the older siblings discipline the younger ones by being like, if they don't listen to you, then they don't want to do this, and you put them in this crate, and if you don't do it, then I'm gonna do it to you. God, that has to be like so horrible.
And I mean, just knowing that you were going through this, and these are your parents, the people who are supposed to unconditionally love you. I mean, it really puts things in perspective of yourself and what you go through, and like what you could be going through today.
Yeah, exactly.
And then just knowing like
man, that could have been worse.
It could have been so much worse. Like, and the unfortunate part to this, and I don't know if you're getting to it, if so, I'm sorry, is that even though they're out, they still have been
they still have
abused by the system because of the fact that...
I can't remember how much money that they said they were giving to them, but now the money is tied up and none of them can get the money.
Right. And, oh, by the way, you know, the city, the county, they were supposed to do things for them, make sure they had housing, make sure they had the appropriate things. And some of them were still homeless after they got out of this situation.
Which is crazy,
and it's like, the people are just leaving them by the wayside left and right, and nobody's really doing right by these kids.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's like, how much more can these people stand?
Exactly.
You know?
There is the 17-year-old that was the one who slipped out the window. She does do the interview with her older sister, who was
she was 30 or something.
33, I think.
Yeah, 30 something. I think 30 when they got out, or close to 30.
Yeah, she was 20. I think she was 29 when they got out. So she was like 32, 31, something like that. Anyway, so she's talking, and so Diane Sawyer gives her a picture. It's like a family picture for both of them to look at. And I swear I could read their emotions, because the one who slipped out the window kind of looked at it like, yeah, I remember this day. But then the older one looked at it, and she was ready to just start sobbing. And then the younger one looks at her, and then like you see her face like, wait, you don't have the same emotions I do.
Yeah, wow.
Like you're crying. She's like, I'm angry. Like,
yeah,
it's like totally different thing.
But that's the thing. Everybody's makeup is such that the same thing can happen to the two people, and how they look at it, and how they like you said. One is like, I'm angry that they did this to me, and I am going to ensure that I am going to prove wrong everything that they were trying to do to hold me back. And then the other person could see it and be like, oh my gosh, because the older sister also was the one who did get to go to school.
Yeah.
The kids used to joke on her and they used to tell her she smelled and all that kind of stuff. And she was like, yeah, I did, because I didn't even realize I did, because you grow up in this kind of environment. And so once the school called the parents to say, hey, what's going on? She looks a little, small for her age. She looks very disheveled and, whatever. They took her out of school and none of the other kids ever went to school. Exactly. So it's so many different layers to this story. I mean, it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's very heartbreaking, but definitely I feel for them. Like they're now, I think 2020 is trying to have a whole thing for them where they're trying to investigate about that. Yeah. So
I think that one of them should write a book. And maybe it could be made into a movie or something, so that way it can bring in some income in a way for them to be able to live their lives successfully, because they just weren't given the tools. Yeah. So.
But the parents did go to trial and they got, 25 to life?
Yeah, they got a lot of years and they needed it. I mean, I don't even know how they're not under the jail. Like, it was just horrific.
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure somebody in jail's going to find out, and somebody's going to mess up somebody. Because
you never know.
Anytime that it comes to like children,
children and old people,
Mm-hmm. The people will, in prison they mess you up for that, homie.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, thanks for that. And that was on 2020 ABC.
Yep, 2020. You can also find it on Hulu.
All right, everyone. Well, that's the show for this week. Thanks, everybody, for joining us on Sestra-Tainment. We will talk to y'all soon. Have a wonderful and blessed week. And see you next time. Same station.
Same place.
Bye.
Bye.